Recently, I have had a lot of things go wrong. I've had lighting fail, cameras fail, not really that motivated. I've been trying hard, haven't been seeing the returns that I have wanted. Have the neighbors that are really loud when I'm trying to record. The weather's not really been in my favor. I haven't really been thinking of many topics. All fair, right? All valid. But if I thought through that lens all the time, and they were the options that I always opted for, you wouldn't be tuning in to yet another episode. I would not be sitting here with you today having a one-to-one conversation because there would just be too many roadblocks and excuses in the way. A man can fail many times, but he is not a failure until he starts to blame someone else. John Burrows. So welcome back to the Future Self podcast, and welcome to one of the most crucial episodes you could tune into. Excuses. I have a very extensive relationship with excuses because I am a health and lifestyle coach. I hear them every hour of every day from every person, all different walks of life, for many different reasons on many different topics. Now, I'm not going to sit down here with you today and just grill you about excuses. Don't make them. Stop lying to yourself. They only sound good to you and no one else, because that gets us nowhere. If you thought like that, you wouldn't be making an excuse, but you don't think like that, and we do make excuses. So what's another lens we can think through? Excuses are valid, but they don't change your life. Any excuse you can make is valid. It probably makes sense. It is understandable as to why that would be a reason that you can't do something. But what does making an excuse do? It stops you from doing what you need to do to get you from where you are to where you want to be. It doesn't matter if an excuse is valid or not, or it makes sense or not. If they are what we deploy and what we use, you simply will just not move. You won't get anywhere. That's been one of the most pivotal dynamics and conversations I have had with my clients, expressing a full emotional and intellectual understanding as to why they say what they say and why they make the reasons they do, but reaffirming and reinforcing it does not change your life. If we need to go for steps, we need to go for a walk to hit a target because we're on a weight loss journey. If the weather is crap and miserable, it is a fair enough reason as to why you use that to not go, but the steps don't then get done. The target is then not hit. Your journey does not progress forwards and you do not lose that weight. If something is too far ahead, out of your reach, scary, daunting, anxiety inducing, or just feels out of your scope of skill, it makes sense as to why you would use reasons and those specific reasons to not do it. But it does not change your life. You see what I'm starting to get at? It's fair and fine you make excuses. It's okay. Then what? What about it? What changes from saying it? Nothing. And that is the very tricky point. We say excuses in the interim to protect our ego, to make it a different reason outside of the fact that we just don't want to, or we can't be bothered, or we're too scared to, or we're not prioritizing it. So it protects us in the moment. Our ego is safe. It's not our fault that we can't do it. It is something else. And then what? Nothing changes. You see, there's two lenses you can look through when it comes to doing hard things or almost anything in your life. How can I? And how can I not? And the how can I not individuals are the ones that have things in their life that they do not like, and they continue to experience it over and over and over without change. The how can I individuals are the ones that see problems, they problem solve it, and they stop experiencing the negative thing in their life and they start moving towards their goals. I wake up early, it's raining. I needed to go for a walk to hit my target. How can I not? Well, it's raining. I can't go for a walk. I might get sick. It's dangerous. It's just not good weather, so I'll go back to bed. How can I? Simple change. I'll pivot from outdoor to indoor. I'll go walk on the treadmill. Yes, it's not as fun. Yes, it's not as stimulating. Yes, no one wants to be on a treadmill. But the person that thinks, how can I? Problem solves, does the task, gets the outcome they want. The person that, how can I not thinks, doesn't do the action, doesn't see the outcome they want, doesn't get anywhere. We can lie to everyone, but we can't lie to ourselves if we genuinely sat vulnerable and thought about things. Someone that's overweight can easily say, oh, I don't mind how I look. I'm happy. I'm jolly. I get to eat good food. I'm having fun with my life. If they were to sit down in front of a mirror, one-to-one, looking at their own self, having a conversation with their own self, getting them to the most honest, truthful, and vulnerable position they could be in, I can guarantee, and I would bet a lot on the fact that they wouldn't be happy. They would not be happy, because if they could snap their fingers and be the exact person they wanted to be and look the exact way they wanted to look, they would do that. So it's interesting, right? If you don't have to work to get there and you can just finger snap and get there, we'd do it. But when there's work involved, all of a sudden we pump the brakes. No, I'm happy. Things are okay. Things aren't that bad. Excuses are one of those aspects when it comes to me as a coach and a leader and someone that's standing in front of an industry. I always hear them out. I very rarely in a one-to-one coaching call or with a conversation with a friend or with someone passing by or a message on Instagram will sit there and just say that's a bullshit excuse. Stop lying. There are times I will say that because it needs to be said, and some individuals thrive off direct accountability. But more times than not, I'll hear them out. Okay, fair enough. That's probably why you can't do it. A list of 5 different reasons as to why it's hard and all the things popping up. And then I say, well, then what? Oh. What do you mean? Well, I mean, you have a goal and you want to get there. And if these are the reasons as to why you can't do it, then what do we do? Normally, I'll also say, well, okay, that's fine. Just stay the way you are. No, I won't stay the way I am. I want change and I want to do these things. Yeah, but look at all these very genuine and fair reasons as to why you can't. Oh, well, I might be able to do this and I might be able to do that. I love the strategic navigation around excuses because when I just accept for them, yeah, that's fine. I mean, just stay the way things are. They often flip the script and start defending as to how they can do it. It's like, well, now look at this. Now all of a sudden you have the capability and the ability to do it. I think meeting excuses with a calm, soft, and validating approach is a very good way to go about it. Because if we start to mix in ego and protection and arrogance around excuses, it becomes a dead-end road. We start driving directly into a cul-de-sac and there's nowhere to go. If I meet it with calm, understanding, and awareness and then pitch the point, well, if we can't do that and that's what helps you get change, what can we do? Trying to problem solve the idea that if you genuinely think they are the reasons as to why you can't do something, what can we do then? What are the other things you can do? Oh, well, there's nothing else I can do. Well, the one thing you can then do is stop complaining about it. I don't care as a coach, as a friend, as a partner, as a son, as a brother, as a leader in the industry, care to hear excuses. I don't mind. If someone wants to deploy an excuse and that's the lens they want to go down, I'll leave it. That's fine. It makes sense. Fair enough. The one thing I do not accept and I cannot stand is making excuses about things you can change and complaining about the outcome not changing. I hate how I look. I wake up every day in pain. I always feel lethargic and unmotivated. Okay, well, you can do these things about it. Oh, I can't because of X, Y, and Z, and this stops me from doing it, and I don't have time, and my kids get in the way, or I need to do these things for my partner. It's like, okay, you cannot have the best of both worlds. You can't look and feel or achieve what you want as well as live exactly how you want with no work. Now, I've been talking about this a lot on my social medias, which, as you know, I post first on my social media. So I'll link it down in the description if you do want to get ahead before the podcast. Where you are, from where you want to be, what closes the gap is work. That's it. There might be road bumps and roadblocks and all those things along the way, but what closes that gap is work. We can't live a life with the outcomes we want and not put in the work to get there. So when someone is explaining that they don't like how they feel, or that they're not achieving something, or they don't like how they look, and then you give a list of solutions, I can't do those for all those reasons, that's okay. Stop fucking complaining about what you can change. That was tough. That's harsh to hear, right? But it's the truth. Stop complaining about things you can change. And if you're not willing to change it, stop complaining about not getting the outcome you want. I genuinely do not mind if someone is unhappy with how they look. I give them a solution, they deploy an excuse and just accept, oh, well, I'll just stay being unhappy. I can't force someone to put importance on achieving a goal. I can't force someone to want to do the work. But I can be someone that doesn't accept someone whinging about things they can change. Now, there's a real theme going on in this podcast and what I've been posting about on my social medias and the conversations I've been having at the moment. Last week's podcast was about doing more hard things. This week's podcast is about excuses. They go hand in hand. They go hand in glove, because becoming more comfortable and accepting of doing hard things makes you a person to deploy less excuses. There's been points in my life I have deployed so many excuses. Now, we all do. No one is an excuseless living being. But there's been times I've genuinely, really, really blamed other things outside of my own self. I'm not excelling in my career because of this person that sits above me and they're holding a roof over me. They're not letting me grow. I'm not looking the way I want to look because I'm so busy and I am dealing with so many clients and managing so many hours at work. I'm anxious and depressed all the time because of everyone else dumping and putting things on me, and I'm just not sleeping that well. It's like, okay, wait a second. They're all fair. They're understandable if you're looking through the how can I not lens. But if I look through the how can I lens, well, I'm feeling unmotivated, tired, depressed, and anxious because I'm working way too much. I'm not regulating my nervous system and decompressing stress from the week. I don't look the way I want to look because I'm not prioritizing enough time for my own self. I'm not putting in the effort with tracking my food. I'm not being an individual to stick to programming, systems, and structures. It's not the individual's fault that sits above me that's stopping me from growing. I'm putting that own cap on my own self. I can branch out. I can leave. I can go and bet on myself. I can take that step. Yet in the moment, I didn't want to be at fault and the reason as to why things in my life weren't going good or were shit. I didn't want that to be on me. And that is majority of humans. No one likes to accept that their life sucks because of them. So they're anxious and they're quiet and they're a people pleaser because of their partner or because of their family or because of their friends or the way they are at work. Yet it's never, wait a second, I'm the one that allows for this shit. I'm the one that doesn't stand up for myself. I'm the one that tries to avoid conflict. It always points back to you. Now, I've almost become a bit of an extremist in the eyes of taking ownership. And I've only done that because the more ownership you take over things, the more things you can change. You physically can't change something that is someone else's fault. Oh, I didn't hit my targets this week because my friend asked me out to dinner and I couldn't say no. It's like, it's not your friend's fault, man. That's you. You didn't say no. You also went. You also chose the highest calorie option out at dinner and you went to bed super late. Everything comes back to you. Yet, we want to blame because we don't want to be the reason we're not achieving our goals, we're not seeing success, we're not thriving in this life. We want it to be the fault of other people or other things. The other big tie-in with excuses is everyone lacks the thought of their future self. So they think, I'll deploy a reason now to give myself ease, to ease a moment without the thought of tomorrow. I won't go for a walk because the weather's really bad. It's easy now. There's no thought, care, or push to think of the individual tomorrow, that they'll have to do extra or they won't do the extra, then they won't see the result they want, then they'll stay in the same position. Often when we're deploying excuses, we're thinking of the now. We're trying to find comfort for the version of us now. And that's why the whole mission and push behind future self is caring about the version of you tomorrow. Because when you operate through that lens, it changes so many things in your life. It changes the way you think, the way you choose, the way you show up, the way you push yourself, the standard you settle for, what you want for your life. Because you learn to care about that version tomorrow more than you care about the version of you today. And you should care so much about the version of you today, which means you care even more about the version of you tomorrow. And it changes so many different things. Excuses are deployed in every area, from work to school to uni to gym to your body to your finances, the way you live, what you achieve, relationship with people. There's an excuse for everything, every single thing. But if we deploy them, it doesn't change anything. That's the concept I really want you to take away from today's episode. An excuse makes sense to make. It is fine to think and feel a quote unquote genuine reason as to why you can't do something. But if that something doesn't get done, then nothing changes. The wind is whipping up today. I have so many meetings this afternoon. I've also got to train. There's so many reasons as to why I could not do this podcast and then skip out on you guys and be an inconsistent podcast host and let my standards slip and put in all these bullshit reasons as to why I can't get out an episode for you once a fortnight with knowledge and impact. But if I deploy those excuses, you wouldn't be tuning into this episode right now. That's the concept I really want you to take away. There's genuine reasons as to why doing the podcast today is hard. Doing the potty this week is hard. But if I go through that how can I not lens, you then don't have an episode to tune into. So just think for a moment. I'm just going to give you a sec. Think of something that is a genuine reason as to why you didn't do something recently. Maybe you made an excuse this morning as to why you didn't wake up or brush your teeth or you didn't iron your shirt before work or you didn't finish the presentation or whatever it is. Think of the excuse you made and then tell me whether the needed outcome got done or not. So I can make a full assumption without knowing anything of what you made the excuse about that it didn't get done. The needed outcome didn't get done. Why? Well, because you made an excuse not to do it. The needed outcome didn't get done because you made an excuse as to why you couldn't do it. So your ego is protected. It's not your fault you didn't do it. It's not on you. It's on other things or other reasons. Yet the needed outcome didn't get done. That is the trap as to why excuses are so detrimental. Because the needed to get done outcome didn't get done. Yes, it's fair. The weather's shit. There's high pressure. You're unmotivated. You're tired. Your kids make you busy. Your husband or your wife pushes things on you. Your boss expects too much of you. All these reasons are so fair, yet the needed to get done outcome does not get done because you deployed an excuse. Now, this is the part of the podcast where I'm going to talk about something that a lot of individuals will not be happy about. And it's being a parent. I hear more excuses from parents than any individual, more than young women, young males, older males, fucking grandparents, husbands, wives, kids, whatever it is. The massive demographic of individuals I work with and see online and talk to and hear about over a week, no one makes more excuses than parents. Oh, the controversy. A 24-year-old young male that's single, living solo in his own house is talking about being a parent. He knows nothing. How dare he? Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. If what I has to say annoys or whatever, that's okay. I'm not here to be anyone's best friend. I'm here to change your life. I'm here to help you. The truth is bitter. Facts can be an absolute bitch at times. And I'm not saying this to say I'm better than you or there's better parents than you. I genuinely care for you to be an individual that is thriving and succeeding. I hear all the time, I'm too busy with my kids. I'm too tired at the end of the day. I've got to do this, and this. Yet I see dinners out on the weekend or movies being watched or drinks with friends or time at the pub or X, Y, and Z. So there's time in the week. Just working on your health and fitness isn't of priority. Fair enough. But that then means that you are an unhealthy or unhappy or not confident individual. Now, I don't know what it's like to have kids. I don't have kids, but I do know what it is like to manage upwards of 50 people, 50 plus people, their mental health, their goals, their targets, their individual aspects, their programs, their 1 hour session blocks, their times, the things that pop up in their lives, the good things, the bad things. So when I was working 90 hours a week, working with north of 50 people, I know what it's like in some degree to have a lot to show up for, as well as trying to show up for my own things. And it was hard. I'll be honest. Yeah, it was really hard. My training lacked a little bit. I was still showing up. My food wasn't the best it could have been, but I was still there trying. I never once was pushing, this is the reason as to why I can't. Because I could. I could. And if I really wanted to, I could have altered things to change and prioritize. I've heard that so many times. Guy, you're young. You don't get it. You don't have kids. It's like, okay, well, you don't know what it's like to work 90 hours a week and train 6 days a week and care about your food as well as still trying to show up to be a partner and a son and a brother. It's like you can't take that away from me without me taking it away from you. No one knows what it's like to work a ridiculous amount of hours and try hard. It's like, well, wait a second. Yeah, you do. You do know what that's like because some of you are out there doing that. Now, the tough thing with parents, and I've been having this conversation with a few of my parent clients at the moment. Telling your kids one thing is one thing. Showing your kids one thing is another thing. And me personally, I want to be a parent that embodies what I teach, not just things that I teach. But anyway, this wasn't just a dig at parents. This was just to say, from my 8 years of coaching, I have seen parents make more excuses than any other demographic. And often it's because there's a lot to manage and there's a lot to juggle, which I empathize with because I've experienced having a lot on my plate. It is then really hard to put time and energy towards yourself, let alone the feelings that I've heard from clients of the guilt and feeling selfish and all these other reasons. But at the end of the day, you are a living being living your own life. You need to look after your own health and your own outcomes. And the whole theme of this podcast, right? It makes sense to make an excuse, but it changes nothing. It changes not one single thing. So I'm going to leave this episode on 2 points. The reminder, an excuse is valid, fair, and understandable, but it doesn't change anything. You can make excuses and not get the outcome you want. You can not make excuses and get the outcome you want. You cannot do both. You can't make excuses and get the outcome you want. You cannot whinge about the work you are not putting in. So if there's something you don't like about your life or how you look or the way you go about things, and you have the potential to change it and control it, please stop fucking whinging about it. Because it's wasted energy and it's wasted time. You either change it and put in the effort and the outcome you want comes about, or you don't and you just accept you don't have that outcome. And then the second point. A man may fail many times, but he isn't a failure until he starts blaming other people. Men, women, boys, girls, parents, brothers, fucking partners, fiancés, whatever it is. You're not a failure until you start blaming other people or other things. Because once you do that, you have lost all empowerment and you have lost all potential to change the outcomes you wish to change. No one likes being at fault. No one likes being the reason their life sucks or isn't moving the way they want. But the minute you accept it and you go from this back to this, your life can change so amazingly. Ownership is the number one factor that changes more lives than anything. When you own your role, you can change your role. When you blame your role to other things, you are rendered helpless from the potential you had to change and become the person you want to become. That is another episode of the Future Self podcast, talking about excuses and them being valid, but the outcome not being achieved when you deploy them. If you tuned in on Spotify, I adore you so much. If you're here on YouTube, looking at the home apartment studio, I appreciate you so much. Please like and subscribe or rate the show. Rating the show on Spotify makes the biggest difference. Dropping a like and a comment boosts the show so much. And for a creator and podcaster like me, it really does mean a lot. I see every single person with what they do. I can't wait for the next episode. Keen to see what you guys think it might be. Drop it down below as a comment, and I will see you in the next one.